Alright, hello again to anyone watching these Kaijudo videos. Today I'm joined once again by Andros. How you doing?
Doing pretty good. All up and ready to go. Round two.
Sweet. Yes. So we have a second match, second feature match from round one. This time between Loui, member I guess coming over from German Duel Masters, playing in our tournament once again, and he brought his four-color dragon deck, Water Dark, Fire, Light, with 9 birds. So again, we talked a lot about these decks in the discussion video. If you want to hear about that. Um, I guess in this matchup, I mean, cards like Logo Scan are going to be really clutch compared to a list like yours where you have Finbar. I think, to be honest, I think Logos is probably better in this matchup than Finbar. Um, and having 9 birds just gets the plays off a little more consistently, or maybe not. But at the same time, having 4 civs hurts the consistency, so it's kind of a toss-up. So we'll see how it plays in this matchup. And he's facing off against Raijinku, or I'm sure a lot of people would know him as Mark Wooden, the Kalima Guru. We need a proper we need a proper name for this guy. Maybe just call him his name, which is Raijinku, I guess. Would make sense. But he is on, I guess, a Water Dark Light mid-range control. It's got Kalima, a lot of dark cards, really low. I didn't realize when we did the video that he only had 8 light cards. Did you? I think you pointed
Uh,
it
yeah,
out.
it's yeah, it's pretty low on both the light and the water counts for sure. It's I mean it runs Scavenging Chimera, it runs Kalima, it's designed to be heavy on the dark.
Yeah, it definitely makes sense for the water cards because I mean a lot of them are
The
like
water cards are pretty trash.
shield. They're like shield triggers, or they're like late game stuff like or not late game, but they're 6 mana cards like Reverberate and Megalcax. But the Targushers is really suspect with the mana count because you can only cast them on turn three, like I think around 60% of the time or something. So really low on the consistency for actually being able to cast it as an early card reliably. But the list itself, pretty solid stuff. I think his key cards. I think Medusa obviously pretty key. Screeching can pick off like a Lux or an Umbra. And then the Vortex evolutions as well, just giving them like bodies that are resilient to Herald and a way to kind of beat the Dragon deck down, I guess. Um,
Yeah.
but I
That's
think,
definitely gonna be whether he can develop an Evo versus whether Louis can get, a dragon combo going. Because obviously if he's able to
mhm.
I mean, even just getting to Lyra or and up, whether it be via Herald or whether it be just surviving to that point in the game, I think I definitely like Louis' chances in the mid to late game for sure. Dragons are strong.
Yeah, I think one of the things we touched on in the discussion when we sort of alluded to the first round matchups was I feel like Raijinku's deck is really missing a lot of the tools that it would need to combat dragons properly. Like he trimmed the spire puppets or he cut them entirely when he moved towards the water package, and he also just has no mesmerize, which is like really big for picking apart the dragon deck's plays and getting them lower on resources. And he's missing bone blades. Like his deck just doesn't have an answer to Nyx, which is
Yeah,
like he's got the screeching for Lux or whatever, but if Louis just plays a Nyx, it's gonna go unchecked, and obviously an unchecked Nyx is one of the like that's like one of the best feelings you can have as a dragon player, right? So missing Mesmerize and Bone Blades were two of your crucial cards in that department, and yeah, I just feel like his way to win is gonna be either to try to go aggro somehow and beat him down with evolutions, or just try to resolve an evolution. But it's just really hard to do that against a Herald when they're going to be able to play it turn four pretty effective consistently through your lack of interaction. But
yeah, and then the whole deck is built around. Oh, hey, yeah, I'm gonna kill something with it. So yeah,
yeah, so we'll see how it plays out. But I was definitely, because traditionally, I honestly, when I tested a lot with like the 40 card light dark Kalima decks, I felt like Dragons was one of its better matchups, just with the game plan it had, being able to disrupt those plays. But I just don't see the tools in this particular list to combat dragons effectively. So we'll see how it plays out. But I guess, well, yeah, one other card too, Spinning Terror. Maybe kind of, you could kind of think about it impacting
art
Nyx.
counters the logo scan.
Yeah, like it impacts the Nyx and Logos, I guess. But Spinning Terror, I just wanted to talk about this card quickly because I have a little bit more experience playing with and against it now. I just don't think it's very good at what it does. Like I can see it as like a hard counter for specifically Reverberate and Cephalia, which are cards that make this that can really give this deck issues, I guess. And when they're drawing like 4 or 5 cards, they can't really do that against this deck because you're just gonna have residual bodies to kill them with. But the problem is like if you're specifically using it to combat those cards, I think there's just better ways to go about it, and it's just not worth playing for that purpose. And against a lot of the incidental card draw, I just think it's more of a liability than anything else. Like if you're playing against a deck with logos, which I did in some playtesting games, like I was perfectly happy to just use my logos as like a draw for, and like breaking two of my own shields
Yeah,
was like actually beneficial, and I could just completely take over the game because like they have
yeah.
this
You just save 4 mana on the what's that one spell? The
spy
Water
mission
Dark
or
7 mana.
oh yeah,
Uh,
yeah, emergency protocol.
there you go. You're just saving 4 mana on the emergency protocol. You're just
Yeah,
helping your
exactly.
opponent out in that situation.
Yeah, it just turns it into a draw for, and this deck just doesn't have like the beatdown pressure to be able to take advantage of it properly. Like it's not a proper aggro deck. And even then, if you are a proper aggro deck with Spinning Terror, they're probably not going to be playing their card draw cards against you. Like they'll just be content enough with just
Yeah,
having more cards.
Cephalia,
Yeah,
and
like
Reverberate are non-issues if you're aggro.
yeah, and they're
So
not going to be
it's
tapping
a
out for logo scan. Like yeah, just you're not really caring about that stuff because they'll just play with all the extra cards that you're giving them as an aggro deck. So I just
yeah,
don't think it really has a place outside of like maybe some niche. Like I could see some synergy decks where you have like cute stuff going on with Orwellia and maybe like Snowbeard, but I think as like a tech card to counter draw, like against Nyx too. If Loui plays a Nyx and Raijinku, like when did some test matches with him while I was playing Dragons, and he prioritized casting Spinning Terror on turn 3, and I think every time it was just really terrible because I was just happy to just go Nyx into Herald and draw 2 cards instead of just one, and then it was way easier for me to like piece together my Herald plays. So
oh, absolutely. Yeah.
yeah, I think it just doesn't actually like it just helps your opponent draw more cards to be honest because this deck is just too passive to really take advantage of that breaking shield effect in my opinion. But again, like as a
We'll see
hard
how it plays out.
yeah, we'll see. I just wanted to go in depth on that because had more experience with the card, and it is a card that didn't really see tons of play, so I felt it was interesting to talk about, but probably too rambly. Anyways, sorry, can you sit through that, Andros? But
Gotta just. It's all right. Hey, if you wouldn't have, I probably would have brought up Old Man Winter, so it's fine.
yes,
Uh,
yeah, true. Yeah, we don't need to talk about that. That's another degree of All right, so I pulled up the replay if you have it as well, and we can start in just a few seconds. So give a
okay.
little countdown here: 3, 2, 1. Jump right in. So I believe yeah, Loui won the die roll, chose to go first, and leads on piercing, which unlocks both
Really
colors.
fine.
Yeah, and he's
Yeah.
got the nice hand of double
Double
bird.
birds.
That's always a good
Yeah.
sign. Doesn't have like a cheap bird, but what is Raijinku got going on? He's got the spinning terror. He's got a lot of.
He's
This is
got an
like
aggro hand.
yeah. This is like my issue with the deck that he has built in this matchup. Is like his hand just doesn't have anything to do against dragons. Like what is none of his cards. Like he's basically just priced into like a game plan of just being like a kind of bad aggressive deck to try to. It's just not gonna work. Like I don't know. He doesn't even have the evolution to pair with it. So
Yeah. Yeah, that's one thing I might be beneficial would be to up the evolution count a little bit or trim the rest of the deck a little bit to
hmm
make that a little more common. But I mean, I don't know. This hand would look obviously a lot better if he did have the evolution.
yeah.
Actually, the Stalker is pretty good.
Or just like it looks better in other matchups. Like this hand
Sure.
against dragons, like it just doesn't have the tools. Because like lurking skullcutter would be like a fine turn two play otherwise, right? Scavenging chimera, a nice turn two play. Um, underworld stalker, nice card to have as well. But so he opts to make a play here. I would probably yeah. I guess it makes sense.
I can see that. That probably wouldn't have been my first choice, but it's fine, I think. Uh, Chimera is fine too, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I would be scared to play creatures to the board, but I also get like, what other option do you really have at this point?
Yeah, you gotta do
Um,
something sometime. I don't know.
mm,
It's tough though.
just hope he draws a Medusa a few turns later. I mean, you could play super passively and never make a play, and then just I don't
Still
know.
lose.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. So I feel like Loui charges. Yeah, I mean his play is kind of straightforward. He just drew all his shield blasts, put all his shield blasts in mana, and then you play the cards that aren't shield blasts.
The real cards. Yes, exactly.
hmm that's part of the problem with the darkness package is like you play Umbra and then add good shield blasts, but it's kind of just a bunch of. I mean, I guess it's the same as regular dragons, right? It's just you have different bad shield blasts.
Yeah, they don't combo as well with your Herald, but
hmm
uh,
Yeah, that's
unlike
true.
the piercings and the storm sparks and stuff.
hmm And they're not fire mana, which means like if he top decks a Herald right now, like he's drawn these darkness cards instead. But
I
I
guess
mean,
that's something that Raijinku can take into consideration that does not. He probably doesn't have to worry about Herald next turn.
yeah. If he draws a
I
Lyra though,
mean,
if he draws a Lyra, I'd be
oh, that's
smiling
devastating
so
too.
hard. Yeah. I mean that
I
double
guess the
bird.
spinning terror. Hmm,
Yeah, and he
we'll
chooses.
see.
So yeah, he's clearly taking the more aggressive approach, right? He's gonna break shields. He's gonna try to make it hard for the Knicks to wanna draw. I guess like maybe he chooses not to because he's facing down some pressure. But to be honest, I think Louis just incredibly happy to see an extra card here.
Oh,
With
for
that,
sure. Yeah, the hand he's got is pretty weak
mm,
at the moment.
I
So
mean, just
getting two draws instead of one is massive.
for sure, for sure, we'll see. And it's a Terra Pit. Yeah, I guess it makes sense. Yeah, just cast it, kills the spinning Terror. I would think about the Chimera, but because like obviously you
Probably
can,
would actually kill the Chimera.
yeah, because yeah, you're worried about Medusa. The Chimera gets back the spinning Terror when it attacks if it attacks next turn. So I would probably think about it, but I mean it's not the biggest deal, but it's still just being a card that draws a card for Raijinku is still nice because it helps him hit his land drops, even if you're not too scared about the spinning terror coming back down. But I mean he's got the bone blades anyways, so if he's gonna
Oh,
cast,
that's
oh,
true. Actually, yeah. If you don't draw anything else good, you're gonna play that anyway. So
but he drew
it's
Lyra,
fine.
which is the
Oh,
probably
well,
the
GG.
yeah that's probably the single best card to draw that turn. Um, not gonna lie,
No doubt. No doubt.
charges the
Yeah,
Cassiopeia.
that's a little interesting. I think I actually might have cast Charge the Bone Blades there, but
I mean I
that might
can.
be greedy.
I mean yeah, because if Raijinku plays like another Chimera bait next turn, he's like threatening uh,
So
to
draws the
Medusa.
Herald. Well, okay, my Spinning Terror killing the Spinning Terror ended up being actually no, I think I would have rather drawn the card there.
Oh, so Louis didn't realize like, dude. Okay, that's nice of Raijinku. It seems like he went to attack the Chimera, and uh, that's nice. He didn't realize it was a 3K.
Oh, okay, sure. Yeah. Well, it looks like I didn't even talk about it in chat. Interesting. All right. Top deck's the grip.
Yeah,
Guess you
you're.
just have to. Oof. Kind of don't want to charge it though. You wouldn't mind developing the stalker here.
Yeah, the Stalker would be nice, I think. But I mean, Skullcutter at the same time, like just going.
It's kind of the same here, I guess.
Yeah, you get the extra card. I mean,
I don't know
yeah,
about.
he's
I guess developing the Gigabolver is cool if you top deck the Medusa.
yeah. And this is like where holding Bone Blades is kind of nice because you could clear them all. Not that Medusa is like insanely devastating, but draws running Lyras. Must be nice. Must
Oh,
be nice, man. Must be nice.
yeah.
It's just
That's
so gross.
well. Some days you win games.
Yeah. Um. So yeah, I think you could charge. Does it matter? You can't clear all the baits anyways.
I guess I'd clear the skull cutter so you force him to draw the out to the Lyra or play it as opposed to having it on board.
Hmm.
No, I guess your Lux though protects the Lyra. I guess it doesn't matter. You do whatever you want, man.
Yeah,
Either one is good.
yeah, you target that. Then you can clear the Scavenging Chimera with the other Lyra if you want to. Um, you can also just, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Say.
Because, yeah, even if he draws Medusa here, like, it doesn't, it just clears one
Oh, and you
creature.
could clear the skull cutter with the Lux. Holy cow, that's just oh, or not. Okay.
Yeah, and, like, yeah, Raijinku just hasn't had anything to do. Like, every card he's drawn has either been, like, one of his light dark multi civs or sorry, light dark or water dark multi civs, which he can't cast anyway, so it's not really an option because it's the only light or water card he's had. And then everything else has just been like a weenie creature, which don't really like this unchecked Lux or Nyx is just running away with the game. And
Yeah,
obviously, it doesn't
that's
hurt that
brutal.
Loui is drawn. um, Interesting that he's keeping the Bone Blade still. Oh, he okay. Some takesies
Oh
backsies.
wait, chart? I guess playing the Bone Blades here to clear the Stalker makes sense.
No, he recharges.
Or changes his mind. Yeah, I was gonna say I think I'd probably play the no, no, okay.
Yeah, it seems whatever. Yeah, I mean it makes sense. Just clear it, and then I feel like he's just gonna go right for his face now. Like that's what that play tells me. Hmm. Never mind. Or maybe he still wants to. He just doesn't want to attack with his birds. Yeah. Okay. He's just playing
Clearing the
super.
cutter is fine, I guess. Yeah, just play it all out.
Might as well. This is.
Oh, not attacking. Okay.
Yeah. I. But now he gets to. Oh, if he, okay. Never mind. He top decks multi. That's kind of sucks. But he can just
Oh,
bounce.
I'm a little behind, I guess. Okay.
Yeah, I can pause then. I'll pause for a few
Yeah, just
seconds.
for like 2 seconds. Yeah, it'll be fine.
Yeah. So he top decks piercing, plays a piercing, and yeah, that just.
Guess bouncing Stalker's just as good as killing it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, if you weren't gonna attack, like maybe no, I guess it makes sense. Definitely. I mean, there's not. It doesn't really matter too much what he does, to be honest. Still playing it
I
very
guess way to
passive.
develop the Infernus to just like shut your opponent down to
Yeah,
some degree, isn't it?
exactly. Just there's nothing that, like, if he's totally fine with just like bone blading the stalker, and if the best thing that Raijinku can do is recast it, he's probably like, I mean, like Louis is just very happy about that because then he just, as long as he doesn't brick on a multi save, which he did unfortunately, but you could just recast the Infernus, get rid of it forever. And he bricks on multi-save again, but with the Varaka, you gotta think now he's just gonna go right for. Um,
Oh, that's yeah, that's a lot of that's lethal, assuming no blasts or even with some blasts anyway.
mhm,
Doesn't hit everything, but it deals with a lot.
mhm. So now, like the order you attack, kind of isn't super clear. Um, Obviously,
I guess you,
Lux like protects from a terror pit. It makes the terror pits a lot worse. Um,
if you don't, yeah, I guess that's probably your first attack then.
Maybe yeah, you might as well because you have three double breakers anyways. Like you probably just maybe just break the one with Lux.
Yeah, one of them's only going to be breaking one anyway, for sure.
I feel like I would do that, but it's not clear. You could also just attack with the Varaka first to protect it, but I almost don't mind attacking with the Varaka last because I would actually prefer like if Raijinku has a grip of despair, I'd probably prefer
Yeah,
him to use it on the Varaka because then I don't have to bounce a creature back at the end of turn. Um,
that's true. Actually, ooh, I got to read this card again.
yeah,
Tap and your opponent discards. Oh,
Yeah.
and random is actually kind of rough here because that might nuke his Infernus strategy.
Hmm. But I think the Lyra strategy is working pretty well. So yeah, Raijinku just taps. Oh yeah, this might be. They have to figure out how to random discard, so there might be
Oh
a little bit
yeah.
of bit of a pause here. Um,
Yeah, it's actually a little tricky, no, genuinely.
um,
It's not the most intuitive thing.
so he discards the Herald, and then we'll see if it goes to the graveyard right away or bottom of deck. Um, the Magelcax is kind of interesting, I guess. If he can
Yeah,
get,
I guess Herald should actually go to bottom of deck because of Underworld Stalker.
hmm but yeah, if I don't know, if Magelcax just doesn't even do anything though. Like it just clears one creature that Stalker could clear anyways, and it'll have to evolve on the Stalker. But yeah. Oh, he has doesn't he his list Raijinku's list plays Jokos, doesn't it?
Yes, I
Yeah, he
think he
has
does have
two
Joko in it.
Jokos, three Vile Piercers. Does he have yeah, he has Terrapit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Terrapit Grips and Panics. Yeah, I'm not sure what the right order is exactly to attack. I would probably like attack with the birds first, just because like that way like because if he just dumps out like a Vile Piercer or something, and then Lux protects from Joko as well.
Oh, so they got the Stalker wrong, it looks like, but that's okay. That's an easy one to mess up.
Yeah, it will
There aren't
see.
very many continuous effects in Kaijudo.
Hmm. Also, not. I mean, it's only. I think it's only ever relevant if Loui ends up playing a Bottle of Wishes. But aside from that, attacks.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
not running like memory or anything like that. So this deck's not going to get shuffled anytime soon.
yeah. Reverberates. Not not a
Reverberate.
nice one to see there.
No. Oh, hey, Joko. Speaking of Joko,
Yeah.
actually, that's a little well. That guarantees he's safe, but I guess you can clear the Nyx.
Yeah. Either one. It doesn't. Yeah.
Think I'd
Maybe it would
clear
have
the
been better
Nyx.
to just attack with the Lux and then the
Oh, he
Lyra to
kills
break
Lux.
both.
Okay.
Yeah, and then yeah, that way he like breaks all of his shields, but you can still break all of them. But
Yeah, I think you might as well at this point.
decides
Oh,
not
no,
to
okay.
pick it up. Um, yeah, I mean it doesn't really matter too much. He could have picked up the Varaka, but obviously if Louis kills the Nyx, then trades off with the Lyra, like maybe like he can't replay the Varaka next turn, and then it's kind of awkward because it he
Oh, wow,
doesn't.
that's an awful draw, too.
Yeah, another Vortex. Yeah, this is the problem with Vortex evolutions. Is for one, they're evolutions, and then very often they're also just like evolutions are already bricky in the sense that like they risk the chance of not being able to be options to play, and Vortex just takes that to the next level. Um,
I
but
feel like if
yeah,
like light as a color didn't exist, Evos would be a whole lot better.
potentially. What's the reasoning there, if you don't mind?
Oh, it's just like the light stuff's just so efficient at clearing boards, you know? It makes
uh,
tempo so strong.
fair.
If you had to rely on like real removal to clear stuff, then it would be a lot more consistent to set things up.
Hmm. Yeah,
Uh
trying to play vortexes through piercings and
oh, hey,
BBPs.
they're actually fixing the stalker
Hmm.
thing. So that's cool.
Yeah, and Raijinku plays his reverb for one, trades off with the Varaka, and now he needs a shield blast to survive.
Yeah, he needs like specifically a terror pit or Joko or yeah, actually any of his blasts are fine. It doesn't have
Any
to
of
be
them,
anything
yeah.
specific. Yeah, anything saves him.
But yeah, I mean, Louis got to feel very, very, very good about this game right now. I mean, he's probably felt good about it since like turn whatever it was, turn 4 when he drew Lyra.
Yeah. And then the rolling Lyras,
Hmm.
that's tough for anybody to play through.
I mean, yeah, this game was just like the Nyx is still in play. Like, not many decks leave a Nyx in play for every turn of the game, and unfortunately, that's what happened here. Is Nyx has been in play for every single turn of the game since turn 3. And if you're gonna give me odds on that happening with dragons, like I'd probably bet that I was gonna win that game.
Oh yeah.
Dreadclaw. Wow. Yeah, yeah. There's
Oh, we didn't charge anything. That's a little, yeah, whatever. I don't think it matters.
yeah, probably not. I mean, your hand is kind of high value. Just the Infernus
Oh,
is
he's
more
got the
just a
pit.
yeah.
Gets one more turn.
Yes, one more turn for the screeching to do nothing.
All right,
Yeah, and
what's the
then
top deck? Does it magically save him? No, that is not a good card when you have no board.
yeah, just another bricky. So yeah, that game basically went how you would expect, or how we kind of theorized there, where it's just the deck. Raijinku's deck just doesn't have the tools, like not being able to kill a Nyx or interact with the hand. It was definitely brutal.
Yeah, any of that stuff would have made a pretty tremendous difference there for sure. I mean, uh, Louis' hand wasn't that strong. I mean, the rolling Lyra's was big, but
Yeah.
without those constant extra draws, he would have been running out of steam real fast, and it might
Yeah.
have developed into a game state where something like one of those Kalimas or something could have come down and turned it back around for Raijinku.
Hmm. I think, yeah, hitting the Terra Pit on the first shield break too. I mean, it wasn't the probably didn't matter because Louis drew that Lyra, but if that doesn't happen and like Louis just draws more kind of bricks, then maybe he's able to assemble some kind of beatdown game. But it's pretty ambitious for, or yeah, pretty unlikely for that to happen. And Louis even had the Bone Blades in hand to potentially deal with that Scavenging Chimera if he doesn't draw the Lyra anyways. So there wasn't probably too much of an effective game plan there, regardless. But we can jump into the second game here if you're ready to go. Um,
Yep, give me the countdown and I'll get started.
sure. So we'll go 3, 2, 1, go. So,
Actually, it looks like Louis going first again.
oh yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. So this is one of the things I wanted to talk about, to be honest. If you don't mind me going a little in depth here. So yeah,
Sure, it looks like we'll have a couple turns. That's fine.
yeah. So I think I'm sure you've noticed as well playing against him, but Raijinku is a player who definitely likes to go second a lot. Definitely, like he actively chooses to go second when he has the chance, a fair amount of the time. And I think I definitely get where he's coming from because when I was playing a lot with like the light dark Kalima lists, like those mid rangey dark decks, it was definitely a viable strategy to just go second. I think your matchups in certain types of matchups and can actually improve if you choose to go second because you can really leverage like your mesmerizes and your spire puppets and your removal spells and just run your opponent out of cards, make it hard for them to really do what they want to do. And then from there, you kind of just take over with your mid-range game plan and maybe like a piece or two of card advantage. And I think that's like a game plan that really works. And Dragons was one of the matchups with Kalima where I think approaching it that way was actually really beneficial in winning the matchup more often. Like I think that was an active part of this my strategy for approaching that matchup, which I think really translates to why uh, Raijinku is choosing to do that in this matchup. But I think the problem is I feel like he hasn't really reevaluated the fact that like his deck isn't the same, right? Like he's missing all the tools that kind of strategy really hinges on. Because if you're doing it, you need those like proper disruptive pieces, like I've already kind of touched on a lot already. Is you need those tools. Otherwise, you're not really able to leverage the extra card very well. And like his best game plan is to just assemble some kind of aggressive draw or land an evolution, and I think going first is just better for that, right? Like to just get an extra turn to attack with a scavenging chimera, or to get an extra turn before Louis able to assemble like a Herald of Infernus or Lyra play that he can actually land an evolution through. So I think going first is just going to maximize his chance to try to assemble like a winning game plan because he doesn't have the tools for like a going second game plan that I think most of these like mid-rangey darkness decks can actually leverage pretty well. So I don't hate the choice to go second with these types of decks in general, but I think it depends more specifically on what cards you're playing, if that all makes sense. I don't know if you're following that too much.
I follow your train of logic. I mean that I don't know. I don't know specifically. I'm not gonna claim to be too much of an expert. I like Kalima lists, but I'm not gonna say I have played them enough
Hmm.
with enough against enough different matchups to be super confident about it. But
Yeah,
it tracks to me.
yeah, but in this game, like he's got the Alphonsus here, and
And he didn't hold on to. I guess he's got pretty good odds of not seeing a of seeing a monocolor. So I guess that's sort of makes sense to
Louis, yeah, he plays his logos here to try to draw something.
yeah, because he doesn't have a clear way to trigger Herald at the moment.
No, but he's got the dragon, and now he's got the piercing.
All right,
So
so he's
like,
got it for next turn.
yeah, so like once again, he doesn't really have the interaction. He's got the evolution though.
Oh, and there's the monocolor. All right, so he can go the UFO off the top.
Yeah, and this is like why I don't know why he played the Icar Sprider. Because you don't need like all these creatures in play. Like I okay, maybe it makes sense. Like if he's worried about like a Lyra coming down to clear one creature, and then like he wants to still be able to play the Alphonsus afterwards. But like maybe that makes sense. But now he just like if he plays the Alphonsus now, he's still leaving a residual creature in play for this Herald, and if he attacks with the Alphonsus, like almost assuredly he's losing that creature. But I feel like he has to do it anyways. I think.
Wait, neither of Alphonus's effects trigger here. That's wild. Because they're equal on shields and they would be equal on board. Huh.
Yeah. So he just decides
I
to
mean,
not play
is
it.
it is a big boy though, so I guess there's merit in that from that perspective though.
Yeah, like he
Or a
could just
Targusher.
jam it and then try to beat him down with it, but
Yeah, harder to do when you opponent has the piercing though.
yeah, and like if Raijinku was going first, like maybe he could have found a way to get this Alphonsus down beforehand, so he has like an extra turn to like attack with it and really put Loui on the back foot. But like here again, the problem is like it's just not doing much, and yeah, back goes the Targusher, and then probably tap the Scavenging Chimera,
Yeah, it's the probably the scariest thing there.
but then he just
Yep, and then there's Infernus, and then there's
and yeah,
GG.
and now he can't even play the Alphonsus now, which again just shows like the problem with these vortexes is like they just don't make a lot of sense. But I don't know. Like maybe it would have been better to just jam it the previous turn, but even then like it just gets piercing back to the hand and like you have just all yeah, I don't know. There's just I definitely get like the Alphonsus is just not like a winning game plan regardless because it just dies to a Terra Pit or a Lyra or whatever. But yeah.
But she actually had a Terrapit not this turn, but next turn anyway. So,
Mhm.
uh,
So yeah, once again, it was just like not having any interaction, like no Pierce, like Spire Puppet or Mesmerize, and just like a thinner deck. Like I think with these decks, you just need those cards, and you need to see them often. And not having any and being like a 50 card deck, I think is like two wrong ways to go about it. Like I think you need to be a slimmer deck and have those cards in your deck in the first place. But that's just my thought. But yeah, Infernus is just kind of
yeah, it's brutal.
crushing.
Yeah, it's brutal here for sure.
yeah, you
You
can
can
just
just
yeah, you can play the Shade Blaze, or you can yeah just jam it and then eat the creature with Lux, I guess, and then just go for. I mean, he can just go for game straight up.
Shade Blaze clears the,
Hmm.
or no, it doesn't. Oh yeah, then eat it with Lux. I see what you're saying. Yeah,
Yeah, and then he can
and then it
just
gets fast attack. Yeah. Ooh.
so yeah he can just go for game. I don't know, like yeah, if he Lyra or if he heralds, it wins the battle, but the card is banished already before the Shade Blaze comes in, right? I
Yeah,
think,
yeah. So it wouldn't get its effect off. So
but it doesn't
I
really
mean,
matter. Both ways are the same.
yeah, I guess you're not going for game this turn, but I mean, realistically, any blast is not game anyway, so it sort of doesn't matter.
Hmm. But yeah, no, and yeah, you also just do this, which makes yeah no. I mean that gives you one more break. Like if he, I could definitely see it being right to just go with Infernus first. You might as well, right? Because it gives you one more attack. Like the difference is because either way, uh, no, yeah, just I think the other way makes a little more sense. Maybe just break three with the Infernus first hand, and then go from there. And then you have two creatures back. Like he has to have a Shield Blast for the Shade Blaze or whatever.
I like the idea of doing within with the furnace first for sure. That definitely seems right. Force them to use it on something you don't care about as much, because the Infernus is obviously stopping gameplay at this point. Oh, although he's got a couple blasts, it looks like. So
Yeah, so he'll survive.
yeah, but yeah, I
But
guess you
even then,
have
like
to
he has,
bounce the Infernus and you have to tap the Herald because you need to get that Infernus off the board.
but there's like nothing. Like he has no, he just has no follow up, right?
Oh, yeah, that's a pretty. I mean, he can clear a thing.
Yeah, but I mean he has bait Medusa, but he can't kill multiple creatures, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Because, or I guess no, he can't, right?
Make sure I'm not missing
Okay, I
something.
mean clear all three creatures.
Yeah, you have to clear all three. There's no way around it. I mean, double Gloom Hollow isn't going to do anything.
Yeah, he needs to draw. I don't even know. I don't think they're.
I don't know if there is a draw.
Yeah, I mean, ooh, I guess a
Uh,
second bait, like a second bait, a second Gigavolver, and then he can play Alphonsus and get a shield, and then try to kill. But it doesn't even clear two creatures because Alphonsus kind of
it
sucks
don't.
that way. It just
Yeah, it
they
would clears one.
because it they just kill the creature that it's attacking, which means it just yeah that's part of why the card sucks. Is
I actually might even go in for shields in that scenario to like put yourself in a position where maybe you can actually win another turn down the
yeah, but
road, you
the thing
know?
is he doesn't even have a blocker that removes two creatures at once. I don't or a shield trigger that removes two creatures. I don't think in his deck, right?
Oh, he doesn't have to. He only has to deal with two attacks.
Oh yeah, because
Although no,
Alphonsus kills a
I
creature.
guess Shade Blaze actually would give fast attack to whatever
No, no,
he
you're right.
summons. So
You're right. I think it might
yeah,
be better, but either way, I think you're kind of hooped. Like, yeah, this game's over. He can only clear two guys
he
in
can
the
clear
shape.
Lux. Yeah, and I guess Medusa as well.
So yeah, that's game. So I don't know. That game, the opening was kind of interesting. I mean, I talked over a lot of it with my go second theory, but
Yeah, yeah, it
um,
was yeah.
not
There
much.
was a window there maybe for some things to happen, but just the way the cards went down,
Yeah,
it didn't work that way.
like
And
again, just like
yeah,
Burden to Herald was just kind of gross. Like Loui missed on the tap effect, but even though he took one turn off, um, yeah. I mean the Ophonis, yeah, maybe that was his only hope was to just jam it and see what happens. Because he never ever, like, he decided not to play it and then never got the chance to play it. But again, like, it just gets piercinged or lyra'd or terrapitted anyways, so it's probably not going to get there at the end of things. But
Yeah. And actually, your comment about playing two creatures that turn before the potential Ulfanis turn, it might have actually been better that turn to have just about had the two creatures out, because then the Ulfanis would have at least triggered and helped clear the
yeah,
board that next
exactly.
turn.
Like, that's, like, yeah, I
It
get
would have
it.
done something as opposed to nothing.
Exactly, because
But
it kind of makes no sense, right? Because the reason you would play two creatures is to guarantee you can play it through a Lyra, I guess. Because, like, piercing still means you can't clear it, right? And
yeah,
also in all of these situations, or you, not that you can't clear it, you can't summon Alphonse. And also in all
yeah,
of these situations as well, they're still dropping something giant off of Herald anyways if they have the tap effect and the giant thing. Like maybe they just have the tap effect. So if you're just hoping they have a single tap effect like Lyra and not something big to draw, maybe you can still win that game. And maybe that's the game Raijinku's hoping for, is they just tap a creature, kill it, drop nothing, and then you can drop Alphonse and like
yeah.
revenge attack over, and it's the biggest thing on board, and they've already used their Lyra. I
Yeah,
get
if that would have been like Andromeda or I don't know, Dreadclaw or something, it wouldn't have been nearly as scary. Uh,
yeah, I could
Obviously, Infernus just brutal in that situation, but
yeah, so if he doesn't have that, like I could see that being the game you're trying to win by playing double bait,
mhm,
is trying to play through that. But against like just anything else, like if you're just hoping they don't have a tap effect to begin with, um, or that they only have one, like he didn't even play the Alphonse anyways. Like he untapped with the opportunity to play it, and he still didn't play it anyways.
yeah,
So I just like don't know what the game plan is
yeah.
from his side. I think it,
I, yeah, I think in most games I'm probably playing that Ulfanis on five, and I'm maybe playing turn four differently. I'm not 100% sure on that one,
yeah, I
but
think it might be
I'm
just be better to just, because you're probably losing most of the games they have a tap effect anyways, right? Like
yeah,
except for that one case where maybe they don't have a big thing to drop and they already use their Lyra. Like that's the only game I could think that he's trying to win, like I touched on. But other than that, it's probably just better to just drop two creatures in a play and then just
yeah,
jam the Alphonse next turn. And like you said, that way you still get a kill a creature. Like you force Loui to sack something, you break two shields, which I mean I get it. You're kind of losing. You're just banking on this Alphonse to somehow get there, but
yeah.
I don't know.
Well,
It's tricky because
it
what he did was just develop a board and get blown up by Harold, which was an inevitability if you take that passive approach.
yeah, it's going to happen. It's sooner or later. It's
Hmm.
just a matter of when, not if,
It's a tough
for
call,
sure.
and yeah, I think
Yeah,
going second is or going first as well would have been better too because you get to like you get a oh yeah, I think just going first with this hand, not developing the Ichor Spider would give you the untapped mana to be able to play Alphonse on turn 5, because otherwise he needed to top deck the Spinning Terror to play it. But if he just doesn't play the Ichor Spider, there's also no way for, or yeah, he wouldn't, like Loui would just need to waste a Piercing to just as a bounce spell to be able to stop him from playing Alphonse. So I think if he just went first, he would have just been able to land like a turn 5 Alphonse, clear a creature, and have backup in hand. Like yeah, but I think the matchup was hard enough that he's probably not winning the game or even the match.
yeah.
But
That's
it's
that's
hard
a
to
tough
say.
match to win for sure with that matchup. I mean, I'm not looking forward to the matchup, and I think I have a much better matchup against his Louis list.
Yeah, Louis'
Just to
deck
be
is
honest.
scary for sure. I agree.
Yeah.
I was I
Um,
did a little bit of like testing and prepare. I think for Dark Signer and I, both of the light water decks, I think we'd rather play Dark Signer especially. I think Dark Signer is actually favored against Louis, personally,
hmm,
because Louis'
I
deck
could see that.
the one thing it's missing is it's missing the card that pushes Herald through against tempo decks. And whether that's Jump Jets or Oswan Call or both, like he's missing that element, which I think just makes him a bit of an underdog because Darksigner can just like freely just Rusalka the crap out of those heralds. He can
Sure.
and like Blinder Beetle Prime is just that much more devastating a lot of the time. Like I think missing that dimension is really detrimental. Um, Also, Dark Signer also has two Sashas, which is really nice. The nine birds helps as well to like maybe just go for more Lyra plays as well. But like turn four Lyras can be really nice in those matchups. So that's like the benefit of playing nine birds is turn four Lyra becomes a more regular occurrence. But I think I prefer Dark Signer's side, and he has Blinder Beetles too, which is really nice for that
Yeah,
matchup.
yeah.
Just super strong. But on my end of things, I think to be honest, my deck in the second round is probably the weakest. But I think my best chance is against Dark Signer of any of those matches.
Well, you gotta face him next round, and then you gotta face either me or if you win, you gotta face me or
Hmm.
Louis. So
Yeah, it's gonna be tough. So
yeah,
yeah, the four piercing decks did win the first round and move on to the second. Louis obviously won here. The match you saw previous was myself beating White Ranger, and then you got the win against Kairik, although he was kind of forced to concede that one due to some, I guess, life reasons. So you didn't actually get to play your match, unfortunately.
yeah.
But to be
Was looking
honest,
forward to it, but
yeah, to be honest,
that's all right.
I felt like we both felt you were favored in that match, anyways. But it definitely sucked that you didn't get to play the first round, and then the final match, um, obviously Dark Signer took over or was able to beat two shots. So that sets up the second round. So hopefully we can get at least one, maybe two, if I can cover or get recordings. I guess you could even just record those and then send them over, and we can cover them
Yeah, if I figure out how to do it, I will do that.
for sure. So we can probably get coverage for the semifinals and then hopefully the finals as well. But that was the round one match. Thanks for joining me, Andros. It was nice to have you on again. Definitely, uh, you did a good job of suffering through my rambling. I don't know.
Thank you for tolerating my vaguely, probably mostly not insightful analysis.
Yeah, I probably need to
It's always a pleasure.
balance the mic out a little more. But yeah, thanks again for coming on. Really appreciate it.
Mhm.
And for everyone watching, thank you for watching, and we will see you next time. Bye.